He sure loved the choir, Pope Francis did, applauding with enthusiasm at the end there. Jim Nicholson's the former U.S. ambassador to the Holy See, and he was knighted by Pope John Paul II for his human rights work. And Jim, it's good to have you on today, and welcome back here, Mr. Ambassador, on America's Newsroom. Your remarks initially on what you've heard.
The Pope was the Pope. He's a very humble, plain, simple human being, and he tries to be nothing but that, and he came across that way, and I think that's why he's such a beloved person in the world. He truly cares about the people in the world who are suffering, who are poor, and he is urging all of us to do more for those people, and I think that is a wonderful message, and I think it's true, and I think we can all do more. He thankfully did not excoriate our country for its capitalistic system, and he was consistent with his recent encyclical where he emphasized his beliefs about global warming and its effects on what he calls our common home, and he has some prescriptive ideas about that, which many of us have hesitation over, particularly with respect to the use of fossil fuels to bring the billion-plus people who are still in dire poverty out of poverty. But the transcendent message of this man is a wonderful, uplifting message, and he's a loving, simple soul and deserves to be loved.
It did not take long for both of them to dive into the issues that will be debated in the coming days, as you well know. The president mentioned the Cuban people, he mentioned immigration, he mentioned a changing climate. The Holy Father, for his part, talked about the poor living in a system that has overlooked them, mentioned air pollution, a problem that can no longer be left to future generations. I expect more of that tomorrow, and even more so on Friday at the United Nations. But part of the main reason he is here is he made a commitment to be at the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia. That begins on Saturday and concludes on Sunday night. And he said in his address there, the family is at a critical moment in history. How does he now affect that on this trip?
He has the potential to really help that. This man has what I call a moral megaphone that no other person in the world has. And when he speaks, he's heard throughout the world, and he's good at using all the available media outlets there are, including social media. So I expect when he goes to Philadelphia, he's going to put his arm around the proposition of the importance of the family to civilization and to the future of mankind. It's the family is the foundation of human life. It's where people learn their initial values and have the warmth and the security of the companionship of a family, and that is under assault, and it's deteriorating, and that's an unassailable fact, and the Pope is well aware of that, and I think he has great potential to try to rebuild the culture of the family, both in our country, certainly, and throughout the world.
Mr. Ambassador, give us a sense, too, of how the guest list comes about, and whether or not, based on your experience at the Vatican, whether or not something is approved or perhaps not approved. You had an openly gay Episcopalian bishop there, you had transgender activists, and there's been a couple of stories written the past couple of days how the Vatican was not happy with that. Does the Vatican have the power to say, don't invite them to a ceremony like this?
The Vatican could certainly make that request, but the Vatican is a pretty genteel place. It's again, its overriding factor is love, acceptance, forgiveness, and so I would suspect that they were somewhat irritated by that, and so were many of us, because you wouldn't see the White House and having President Xi come to the White House inviting the Falun Gong to a reception of the president of China. So it to me was pretty insensitive to do that. I think the Vatican has been very diplomatic and kind about that, and noted that there are 15,000 other people there and so forth. But I think it was a real insensitivity on the part of the president and the White House.
Thank you, Ambassador. Jim Nicholson, former U.S. Ambassador to the Holy See in Washington, D.C. Thank you, sir, for being with us today.
Thank you.